Here we go then. We've got 3 red lights, then 5 come on all at once. And in one of the strangest opening start glitches I've seen, we are racing here at the Mystery Grand Prix for the Creator Series with our race in Japan. Into the first corner, Hoodie Pete takes the Alpine through the first couple of... Oh, in the background, it's happened immediately. There's a collision in the very first corner in the Japanese Grand Prix. And that means then that we've got some drama already. Yay! And then EME is just tucked in behind them as well. And, oh, yours sincerely, though, making a mistake, and they come back onto the circuit, and they've just made a contact there with Yorpa. Yorpa goes tumbling down the order. That opens the door to their teammate MSkyZ, who goes on past. Then we got Emphatic Fabio making his way through the field then. He wanted Jeddah, he didn't get it, and now that means he's got to do the hard slog of it all. And then disappear off into the distance once more does the Alpine, but down the start-finish straight now then, with, of course, DRS available, the McLaren moves to the outside, and after replacing Benjamin Daly for the race, he sweeps into the lead of the race. It is EME up into the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. And EME, now they have the clean air, is disappearing off in the lead. And look at that in the background. The Alpines came together. That's not the first time that's been said in 2024. And now, as we watch MSkyZ, dear oh dear, bless them, they have had a terrible beginning to this sprint race because they are now all the way down the order, massively dropped down in terms of the points. And you can see here, Tom97 has had a great run in the background. Yorpa goes round. That is an incredible moment there. It's a place I've never seen a driver have a move all on their own like that. But in terms of what we see now, Tom97 making the charge up towards the back of Viper GT. We've got a move potentially up the inside here into the 130R from El Rey Guri. Does he give the space? Is he given the space? And it looks as though both cars just managed to squeak themselves through, but coming down into the chicane at the end of the lap then, he completely cuts the front off of Viper GT. It's nice to see that some Leopards don't change their spots, but there we go. Opening the DRS then does Meraki down the start-finish straight. They're going to get onto the back of Viper GT, and then up the inside they go. Up the inside, El Rey Guri as well! Massive overspeed, double DRS, double bit of slipstream there for them into that first corner, and sadly not enough speed to be able to capitalise on it, but a great effort regardless from Jake, and he's now going to have David Castillo, of course, just in front of them for the next little while. No use of the overtake button inside of that cockpit. That dashboard is all neutral for the time being. Now a little bit of the overtake as they come through the exit of 130R, and right then pouncing on them as they end up seeing the opportunity come along and onto the brakes. A late dive bomb move. Fantastic bit of driving there from Tom97, but you must say they've ceded something of a technical advantage here because now they've got the McLaren right tucked in behind them. Is there going to be any bravery there from them? No, not this time. So into turn 1, Tom97 has the lead, and El Rey Guri is fighting once more, side by side with Meraki. He was so keen not to have contact when he was trying to overtake El Rey, and now that El Rey is trying to overtake, there's wheel banging galore. This is great racing between the two of them. Still side by side in the S's, and as they come up now over the top of Dunlop, it looks as though now finally El Rey has his man.
On that occasion, I don't know if it's going to happen. 130R, they're going to take the outside line, and a move is definitely on. Williams looking for it, contact nearly made, and now look at the Red Bull. Daktai Vince lining one up. However, Tom97 out in front, it's V-Carb who wins the Japanese sprint race, and it is El Rey Guri who picks up P3 by the absolute skin of his teeth. My God, that got close.
Yep, there's still a race going on, of course, so here we can see then a bit further down the order, there's still a bit of a scrap going on. We've got F1 Alex and MSkyZ crossing the line now, but Yorpa, Emphatic, and then, of course, Punju, all still yet to finish the race. Punju locked in close behind Emphatic. This is perhaps a bit too far back. I'd say the furthest back you could possibly be is where we saw with Tom97 earlier. Puff of smoke there from the brakes, from the tyres that squeal no more as they then go through the final turn. Then it is Emphatic who will come home P12 after an earlier incident, but then demolished down the order by a penalty. And so it is Punju, Unstop Rob, Blackmere, Emphatic, Rasin Chai, and then Matty D13 and Arseno will finish off this particular race then. And I'll treat that with a pinch of salt until we see them come across the line here, because through the final corner they come, and up to the line, it may well have been the fastest, because they then go the fastest of anybody in that part of the circuit and across the whole lap there. 1:27.5, that's a whole half a second faster than what El Rey Guri has been able to manage so far.
I'll tell you what, that is purple in the second. It's also purple in the third sector. It was momentarily. There is a V-Carb in P14 who's decided to absolutely blitz the first and second. And by the time it's the third, V-Carb does go up into P1. And by the time my screen wants to switch over, that, of course, is Tom97, who now takes that, I guess, provisional pole position, as this is going to only be a single qualifying session, not Q2 or Q3 to follow. And so V-Carb now goes up into the top step, and that guy Vince in the Red Bull seemingly looking to improve on these soft compound tires. Doing well in qualifying and doing well in the race. Unfortunately, I believe that is a ruined first sector, so across the line, it doesn't matter. Aston Martin, 127.445, ruined first sector, however, still definitely has the pace. And fastest first sector, sorry, not a ruined first sector. That is a English mistake by Gareth Allen in my ear, as Aston Martin comes across into the first sector, and McLaren also coming across the line for Punju.
With the Ferrari driver then, they are currently back at the field of those who have set a time so far. It is themselves and their teammate, the two Ferraris, at the back of the field so far. That's not something they're going to be wanting to see come the end of this session. So, as they continue to push on then, we've got now some drivers having finished. El Reguri has finished. They have not improved on their previous lap time, so that is the benchmark. That is the place that everyone needs to be aiming for. We've also seen F1 Alex, we've seen Hoodie Pete finish off their times as well. A little bit of a lock-up there, the briefest amount of lock-ups for Rasin Chai. A little bit of oversteer there on the exit as well, so this may not be the quickest time in the world, but it is good enough for 7th place for Rasin Chai in the Ferrari there. Arsenault's retired from the session, so we'll not see any improvement from them either. And then up into P7, there goes On Stop Rob as well. Good bit of driving happening now at the end of the session for all these drivers. Everybody within the 129s or quicker at this stage. Yours Sincerely comes across the line, does not improve on their own time, and therefore does not improve their position either. We've got M Sky Z returning to the pits in P5, so that is the highest they could possibly start this race. And just behind them, we've got Meraki on the circuit now, going through Spoon Curve, trying to make their way through, and then little bit of oversteer there, jumping to Yorpa then, as they're at the end of their lap. They were able to set provisional pole earlier on. They've been beaten down since then. Can they respond? Can they bring it up high? The answer is a deafening no. 11.7 seconds off of their personal best. That guy Vince, though, in the Red Bull, as Tom97, Yorpa have all finished their times. It means Vince is the last driver on circuit who might be able to challenge. They don't in the end. It's 3rd place for them, just ahead of Yorpa, and Meraki will finish in 5th place. And that, ladies and gents, is your qualifying session. Long haul, lights out, and it's go, go, go here for the main Grand Prix in the Creator Series. And so, Mystery Grand Prix is a go here at Suzuka, Japan. We've had the sprint, we have turn 1, and into that first corner we go, and it's bowling balls in the background. Everyone going everywhere. Nobody's got the braking right in that first corner, and the big beneficiary so far has been Dakai Vince, already making their way forwards now, then dropping that a little bit further back from Tom97, able to hold off the charge of the Red Bull in the sister V-Carb car. And so, as they go through the S's, then you can see Vince just has that slightly better line, but of course they're blocked on the way through by the RB of Tom97. 97 and Vince, though, with all that scrapping, all that fighting, that has simply allowed El Reguri to get away. And in the background, we've suddenly got yellow flags everywhere. We've got people dropping around the order, and through the Degnas we go. Then there's side-by-side action here between Unstop Rob and Rasin Chai in the Ferrari and the Mercedes. And now, as we make our way down towards the hairpin, then it looks, oh, big moment there for the Alpine. Massive moment for the Alpine of Dark Viper, and quite rightly and very respectfully so, they get right onto the brakes, stop that car in the runoff area, and yes, they're going to lose lots of places in doing so, but they rejoin the circuit safely here on lap 1 of 53. One another through the corners here, and you can see just how easy it was for Yorpa to follow that guy Vince through 130R. Then it is one of these things where they still do sometimes struggle to overtake, as Unstop Rob has now retired from the session and brought out a virtual safety car.
Up in P4 because he's currently going 2 abreast against the Kick Sauber of SkyZ and has made the move successfully on the outside line. That was a delightful move to make there. No problems at all. On the outside, from the exit of 130R going into the chicane, Ferrari well and truly up to P4, and now it is going to be Yorpa in P5 who switches, interestingly, to the intermediate tyres. So more people starting to make that switch over, same as Meraki in the Williams.
So as it is, then following along behind El Rey goes Tom97. Tom97 so close now. He's practically kissing the back end. Now he's kissing the sides. He's kissing everywhere. This is turning into an X-rated movie. As up the inside he goes into that final chicane. Does not end up working. And then on the drive through and out, Yorpa now is looking hungry. They're looking to get a little bit of tongue action going on now as they make their way down the start-finish straight. But no, it might well be Tom97 up the inside into the first corner. But why so it is El Rey going? But no! It's a slight collision, I think, just between the pair, and Yorpa comes through! Brilliant bit of opportunistic driving there from the Sauber driver, and now then they're going to try and close up on El Rey, but is it going to work? Have they overcooked it slightly? Too deep into the S's they go, and that now means that Tom97 is just on the back once more of the Sauber car, and they're going to try and get themselves past as quickly as possible. The longer these two fight, the more it gives El Rey some breathing space, the more it allows him to potentially get away.
Now also picking up.
Oh, look at this. Sorry to interrupt you there, Jamie, but down in towards turn one we go. Yorpa all the way around the outside of El Rey. Can they do what Tom97 tried so many times? They cannot, but they open the door to Tom97. Tom97 back up into second place, and El Rey fighting hard. And as we were saying before, you don't try and overtake El Rey around the outside, because exactly that happens. He defended his line resolutely with great commitment and was able to then keep that car pointing on the straight and narrow, the very, very narrow part of the Suzuka circuit.
My God, that got exciting by, let's say, a few just singular corners. Tom97 back up into P2. Yorpa is now down to P3. And El Rey Guri holds on, but for how
sorry,
much
to the outside now, into the hairpin they go, and now around the outside goes Tom97. He tries to get it done there, but again, attacking the outside line with El Rey Guri, it does not work. You need to get that car on the inside line to be able to then force them to the outside, and it might be what he's doing now. Thinks about it on the entry into Spoon, and I think that El Rey then with Tom97 back in the mirrors once more is back under full pressure. With Yorpa, it was a bit of an unknown. It was something where perhaps the Spanish driver was not quite able to get themselves that disconnect, but they were able to keep them about further back. Now with Tom97, they know there's a driver there who's just as quick, if not quicker, and so there's going to be opportunity now to the inside in the Casio triangle, onto the brakes, pushing into the inside of the corner there. El Rey trying to keep it there too, and now then as they power out onto the start finish straight, is he going to be ruthless? Is Tom97? No, he's not. He sticks tight to the inside line as now down towards Cinnamon they go. Yorpa is there too. It's going to be 3 wide into the first corner here in Suzuka, Japan. Who's going to be the one that comes out on top? It's not going to be Yorpa. It might well be El Rey all the way around the outside, and they seem to have done it. Yes, they have. Brilliant bit of racing there. Great driving from these at the top end of the field, and Tom97's going to need to go back to the drawing board and think about what they're going to do once again.
And Tom97 will always need to go back to the drawing board until there is a grave with El Rey Guring's name entombed onto it. However, the V-Carb on the outside line has the Aston on the inside into 130R. It's maybe an opportunity. It's the biggest he's had, but he's broken. They've both broken. Too late. Yorpa on the outside will get the throttle down, and it's Kick Sauber who takes the lead at the Japanese Grand Prix, and El Rey Guri finally falls down to P2. Surely Yorpa, El Rey Guri, Tom97, surely everyone now follows, but it's not done. El Rey Guri's on the inside line. It doesn't matter if it's intermediates in dry conditions. A quick swoop through 130R, and the move is complete. Back up into P1. Is he going into the pit lane with the race lead? And yes, he is coming into the pit lane. Yorpa's to follow. Tom97 stays out. So now we have a new race leader. That guy Vince comes in. Everyone's practically coming in. Is this a mistake on V-Carb's part? I would only assume so. But now with the disadvantage of intermediates on slick compounds, or a more dry part of the circuit for slick compounds, and DRS is active, can we just mention? So now El Rey Guri, if he can try and pull away, does exactly that as the Kick Sauber gets all over the show. Tom97, Meraki are both at a disadvantage, and everyone else can now finally pull away on a set of the slick compound tyres of mediums and hards, so a mixture of the C2s and C1s.
But, of course, Vince isn't going to press that there. He knows that'll just slow the pair of them down. And Yorpa's retired from the session in the pit lane. So nothing to worry about there. But it's a bit of a shame for Yorpa, really. It's been such a promising race from them. So much performance, so much promise has come out from that particular bit of driving. And sadly, it will all amount to nothing at the end of this Grand Prix. We've got Rasen Chai really close to the back of Vince. He's maintaining that gap nice and well. But, however, the problem is, I say he's maintaining that gap well. He's made a mistake. He's out of the race. Rasen Chai is out of the race. He has lost that front left corner on the car. Has he been collected by anybody else? And this has been something that transforms the entire picture of this race. We'll now start to see that, of course, that rain will come far earlier than lap 51 or 52 now, as the average speed of these cars will come down massively. We'll also then start to see, of course, the change in tyre stratagem. Who decides where they're going to go, what's going to end up happening there, and who might even race with the opportunity to go onto the soft tyre. Softs, mediums, what is going to be the choice here? Oregura leads the field right now, of course, and so he is going to come into the pits now. In he comes, and now just on his marks. He's going to need to slow it down. He's got no pressure whatsoever. He's not going to be overtaken, of course. And now, as we go, the question also, will Tom 97 decide to stay out on those hards? Because, of course, they can still be abused quite hard. He goes for another set of mediums. When you get going, we are green flag racing once again. And we go racing once more. Down towards the first corner we go then. Tom 97 gets closer, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to get the move done. But let's see how close he's able to stay now that all the drivers have got these dry tyres on and they're nice and close to one another. In the wet conditions, with the intermediates in particular, Tom 97 had the advantage. You could see it in terms of his overall car characteristics. You can see it even now. El-Ray's tyres, they might well be up to temperature, but he's asking too much of them. The back end is breaking away again and again as they go through the S's. It's allowing Tom 97 to stay nice and close to them, despite the dirty air. Surely not in the inside of Degna 1. He thought about it. I think he was going to go for it if El-Ray hadn't defended the line. But as they now start running up towards the hairpin, it's going to be the outside line for Tom 97. Again, we've seen this so many times attempted by him versus El-Ray. It doesn't work. But it will work this time. Great little switchback move. Getting underneath and getting that great drive on the exit of the corner. Tom 97, we salute you, sir. Brilliant bit of driving from the brilliant driver in the V Cup.
Rain is falling and Tom 97, what a brilliant move on display. Switched back and a half and he's back up into the race lead. It is El-Ray Guri who now hunts the Hunter who was originally behind him, and now Aston Martin is at the disadvantage. And now look at that guy Vince as well. El-Ray Guri has picked up a 3-second time penalty, and now the Aston Martin lines it up. DRS is back enabled, and now look onto the outside line. Aston Martin flat to the floor, does the lift he needs to do, late on the brakes, 4th gear, and he's back up in front. Another fantastic display of fantastic racing taking place here at Suzuka, and Tom 97 is fighting for dear life. Any opportunity, every opportunity to stick with them. That's all he needs, that 3-second margin, and he picks up P1. Rain is falling, intermediate weather isn't quite here, but the grip is deteriorating every single corner that they make it through. And Aston Martin brakes late, and Tom 97 applying the pressure, clearly too much for the Spaniard here today at Japan.
So there we go then, as they continue to fight one another. You can see then, as we go through Spoon Curve, the back ends of both cars are starting to step out all the more, but El-Ray, it's certainly been a feature of their racing here today. The back end has been very loose at almost all times as they go around the circuit. The only real difference, ironically, was during the full wet period at the beginning of the race. The car looks far more stable and far more in control for El-Ray at that point, and they executed their biggest gap when you didn't take into account, of course, things like mistakes for others and things like that, just through good, solid driving. And into the pits they all dive now. So the big question is going to be, who's our new race leader? Because it will be that guy Vince for the time being, but I suspect that in a couple of laps' time, when that guy Vince and when others have had to come into the pits for intermediates as well, our race leader is going to be M-Sky Z. And I think that Blackmere could end up joining them on the podium as well. This is an absolutely brilliant bit of strategic foresight from these drivers. I said that it may not have been a good idea, but I tell you what, the rain has come down quickly enough where it has saved their bacon. Let's now just keep an eye on all of this, because I think that if anybody said at the beginning of this race that it was going to be mSkyZ, Blackmere, and Matty D on the podium, you might have gotten a few strange looks. mSkyZ has already caught the back of Dark Viper, has already passed them in Spoon. Brilliant move from mSkyZ, a driver who desperately wanted us to go to Miami today. They seem to not be swimming in that makeshift fake harbour that they've got at the Miami Autodrome, but they're swimming in Suzuka. It's a brilliant bit of driving so far from them, but I tell you what, they've got 6 seconds worth of time penalties, even after they get past that guy Vince here. Look who's right behind them with 3 seconds less in time penalties. It's Blackmere. They could have a win on debut in the Creator Series. There's just a few laps to go. 5 laps now until the end of this race. And now then, as they get onto the power out that final turn, it is advantage to El Rey Guri, but will Tom 97 follow them through? That's the big question, and it looks like they will. There's enough overspeed there to do it. Their teammate is deferring the way, and now up the inside. Does Tom 97 get the move back on El Rey? There's big contact! Huge contact moment there, side by side between the pair of them, and Tom 97 doesn't press the advantage. He allows El Rey to go back in front. It's very fair, it's very reasonable from them, but it all but guarantees that the pair of these drivers are not going to go on and get the win here today. They're not going to be close enough to mSkyZ. So now the question is, will mSkyZ make a big mistake sometime in this final lap and lose the time to Matty D, or are they simply going to bring it on home? We will find out in just a few corners time. It has been perhaps an understated race, a race that has been quite quiet for mSkyZ throughout the majority of it. Certainly our main attention, our main focus had been on those initial protagonists, on Yorpa, on El Rey, on Tom 97. As we watch, there's still this battle going on here. Meraki now trying to go around the outside of Tom 97. Both of these drivers do not have penalties. This is 4 position, and now then as they go up into Spoon Curve, it is up the inside for Meraki. Meraki takes the position away, and now then he's got the one opportunity now. If he wants to attack the driver with penalties, he could end up going ahead and doing that. He could end up getting himself that extra position. But as it is right now, it is now the time to celebrate. Vive la France! Let's everybody be upstanding and happy for the driver of the day in my eyes. It is mSkyZ who takes the win in F1 Creator Series at the Mystery Grand Prix. El Rey Guri has somehow gotten up to 2nd place. And what's happened there? Something has happened to Matty D. He's tumbled down the order. It is Meraki, then Tom 97, then El Rey Guri who finish out the podium and beyond. Blackmere gets P5 on their F1 Creator Series debut. Matty D, for some reason, finishes down in P6. We'll have to have a look at that. No fuel is what we're being told. Matty's out of fuel. No, that's a massive shame for them. Oh dear, what could have been their first podium has ended up being a simple P6. It doesn't tell the full story of their race, but it's been a great conclusion regardless. A great bit of drama for us all, and it is then rounding out the rest of the way. It is Emphatic, EME, yours sincerely, that guy Vince, Dark Viper, Arseno, and then Hoodie Pete will be the last of the finishers. Not finishing this race, we have Rasin Chai, F1 Alex, Yorpa, Punju, and Unstop Rob.